Hey YouTubers, Hike with Mike here of course, and today is the fall equinox here in the northern hemisphere where everything is balanced in nature. The same amount of daylight as there is nighttime. I love the equinoxes. It's a balancing time to reflect on balance and things like that, so gonna enjoy hiking in the swamp. Fully expected to be pretty wet today, but it's about time I get my feet wet again. It's oddly quieter than usual out here today. It's serene. It's usually a lot noisier. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's always unnerving being in this part of the swamp because it's so filled with saw palmettos, cabbage palms, all kinds of different types of palms that make a lot of noise when anything goes through it. And sometimes just an armadillo, raccoon, sometimes just moisture or branches falling, but it's always unnerving because you can't see far out. You just hear the noise. So you really have to constantly be on alert, and 90% of the time it's just a tree limb falling or armadillo, but it's still unnerving. It's real steamy out here. I think I'm gonna have to clean my camera lens. Even my glasses are getting steamy. Hey YouTubers, I'm doing something different today. I'm gonna do my swamp talk in the middle of just a regular hiking trip. Normally I do my swamp talk separately, but I'm at my favorite place to do my swamp talks. Place where I like to think and reflect, out in the middle of the swamp. It's always a place where I can reconnect and rebalance and recharge. And today, there's a quote someone actually discovered for me by Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher who came up with the concept, the religion/philosophy of Taoism, where you could find truth in nature. And ironically, here I am on the equinox where everything is balanced, and Taoism is all about balancing everything in the duality of life. Hence the main symbol for the concept is the yin and the yang. And here on the equinox, I'm going to reflect on one of his quotes that just, it's so true. It's a really simple quote. When you're depressed, you're living in the past. When you're anxious, you're living in the future. And when you're at peace, you're living in the present. And that's so true. Particularly, right, the thing I deal with most is the future and anxiousness, because when I know about future events, I'm anxious. I like to always be prepared, so I'm always anxious, and it's always unnerving for me. So I can totally relate to that. But what's funny is a lot of times I'm anxious about something I have to do, some get together that I'm really, because I'm an introvert, I'm not really into get-togethers with large crowds and stuff like that. I get really anxious and things like that. And then I go and I'm like, wow, you know what, that wasn't too bad, I enjoyed it. So all that anxiousness was there for nothing, you know. So and living in the past, that's why I'm, you know, letting go of regrets and letting go of things. And when you do that, you know, and you're not living in the past and you're focusing on the present, that's always going to be good medicine for you. So that's a powerful quote to me. When you're depressed, you're living in the past. When you're anxious, you're living in the future. And when you're at peace, you're living in the present. So that's my swamp talk and good medicine for this morning on a beautiful day in the swamp. This is a good time to be out in the swamp because in the next month or so, lots of migrating birds heading south for the winter will be coming through here. Some will stay here, others will go even further to warmer climes, but it's really nice to see all the different types of birds that normally don't stay in Florida. They just pass by and get to see them for a few days. So looking forward to that in the next couple of weeks. Look at this. Found some wild swamp morning glory vine here. That's pretty cool. Always cool to see some beauty in the swamp. But for me, everything in the swamp is beautiful. How awesome that I came across these wild morning glories on the fall equinox. So today, because with the morning glories, they only bloom in the morning, and by the end of the day, they close their flowers. But today, they'll bloom the longest that they do, because today everything's equal. There's exactly 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of daylight. So maybe not the longest, but it'll be all in balance, which is always good medicine. Beautiful flowers. And a beautiful day. Another blue sky. Just awesome. And here's the beautyberry shrub. The robins love these when they come down through here to and fro on their way south and on their way north. They stop by and really like these a lot. So in December, they'll be down here on their way back north, December, January, eating up a lot of these beauty berries. And it is a beautiful plant. I've come across an orchid. This is a green fly orchid. It's a tree orchid, just like the orchids that you buy in the nurseries and things like that. But this one doesn't really have a really spectacular flower at all. But it's still cool to see orchids growing on the trees in the swamp. That means the air is healthy. And pretty cool. I'll have to come out and see in the spring when it's blooming, but like I said, it's not a really spectacular flower like the ones you see in the nursery. Look at all that life down there. The seen and the unseen. Just beautiful.